Australia is making significant modifications to its circuit after the controversial crash between Fernando Alonso and George Russell. The Albert Park circuit will undergo changes, particularly in Turn 6, following the dramatic incident last season, which led to a penalty for Alonso and highlighted the track's potential dangers. As the 2025 Formula One season kicks off at this iconic Australian venue, the changes come in response to the risks posed by the accident and the safety concerns it raised. Despite being one of the most well-known tracks on the calendar, Albert Park is not without its dangers, which were brought to light by this major collision between two prominent drivers. The incident in question occurred between Fernando Alonso and George Russell during the 2024 season. The crash saw Russell, driving for Mercedes, stranded on the track after losing control of his car, which resulted in a red flag situation. Alonso, who was in the midst of a tight race, was given a penalty for the incident, which seemed to be one of the most significant and controversial of the season. The penalty saw him drop from 6th to 8th position in the final race result and lost 3 points from his super license, which is a serious consequence in Formula One. The debate surrounding the penalty was intense. Mercedes accused Alonso of driving erratically and claiming that he had braked much earlier than expected to block Russell's overtaking attempt. Alonso, on the other hand, argued that his defense was clean and that there was no reason for such a harsh penalty. The aftermath of the crash escalated into a tense discussion, with Russell accusing Alonso of creating an unsafe situation for both drivers. "I changed something on the steering wheel, and when I looked up, I found myself facing Alonso. I went into the wall," Russell explained, adding that he felt the situation could have been much worse if no penalties had been issued. The crash not only caused a significant shakeup in the race itself, but also had wider implications for the remainder of the season. The fact that the virtual safety car, VSC, took a long time to deploy after Russell's car was stranded in the middle of the track raised further concerns. The delayed response from race control created a dangerous environment on the track, and this safety issue became a major talking point after the race. Many drivers, team principals, and fans felt that the situation could have been handled better, and the potential for more accidents in such conditions was high. Given these concerns, the Australian Grand Prix organizers have decided to implement changes to Albert Park for the 2025 season. The primary focus will be on enhancing safety, especially in the aftermath of the Alonso-Russell crash. One of the most significant modifications will occur at Turn 6, where the barriers will be moved to prevent cars from bouncing back onto the track, as Russell's Mercedes did after the crash. This modification will help reduce the risk of cars returning to the racing line after an incident, ensuring that any accidents are contained more effectively. In addition to the barrier adjustments, there will also be an update to the curbing in this area, along with the following corner. The curbs will be redesigned to have a smoother, more consistent surface that will prevent cars from bouncing off them in dangerous ways. Moreover, the artificial grass after the corner will be replaced by a flat curb, eliminating the risk of cars getting stuck in gravel and possibly causing further accidents. These updates are aimed at improving the overall safety of the circuit and making sure that drivers have a safer experience at Albert Park. While the changes to the track are minor, they are still a necessary response to the accident and the resulting safety concerns. The Australian Grand Prix has always been a high-speed, action-packed race, and with the track modifications in place, organizers hope to reduce the chances of another similar incident. The goal is to ensure that the race remains exciting and competitive while prioritizing the safety of the drivers. The importance of these changes goes beyond just avoiding another controversial incident like the Alonso-Russell crash. The 2025 season is set to be one of the most competitive and unpredictable in recent memory, with new cars, new technologies, and potentially new race formats in the mix. As the sport continues to grow in popularity, maintaining a high level of safety is essential to its success. The changes to the Albert Park circuit reflect this ongoing commitment to driver safety, which is a priority for the FIA and the Formula One organizers. Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding the 2024 season continues to cast a shadow over some of the top teams in Formula One. Red Bull, the dominant team in recent years, is facing pressure from McLaren and Ferrari, who have shown significant improvements in performance. The 2025 season will be a challenging one for the reigning champions, as they attempt to maintain their dominance despite the growing competition. Max Verstappen, Red Bull's star driver, has admitted that the team's new car, the RB21, has not been as competitive as expected during the pre-season tests. Despite Verstappen's remarkable driving skills, the team has struggled to find the ideal setup for the new car, with issues around handling and aerodynamics still to be resolved. The performance gap between Red Bull and McLaren, in particular, has been a cause for concern, with McLaren showing strong form, particularly in long-run pace, which outpaced the RB21 by 2 to 3 tenths per lap. Despite these struggles, Verstappen remains confident that the team can improve over the course of the season. "We have some work to do, but we have ideas for improving the car. The RB21 is a step forward from last year, but it's clear we still have room for improvement," Verstappen said. The Dutch driver also acknowledged that McLaren is currently the team to beat, with both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri showing impressive form in testing. However, Verstappen believes that with the right adjustments, Red Bull will be able to fight back and remain competitive. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's motorsport advisor, has also weighed in on the situation, acknowledging that McLaren is currently ahead of the rest of the pack. Marko believes that the 2025 season will be much more competitive than in previous years, with McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes all vying for the title. However, he also made it clear that Red Bull would not give up easily. "We are behind McLaren for now, but we are working hard to close the gap. It's going to be a tough battle, but we are confident we can be back on top," Marko stated. The arrival of McLaren as a serious threat to Red Bull's dominance has shaken up the hierarchy in Formula One. Many experts and fans are now tipping McLaren as the favorite for the 2025 season, especially given their strong performance in testing. The introduction of new technical regulations and the tweaks made to their car have given McLaren an edge that is hard to ignore. However, as always in Formula One, the true test will come when the cars hit the track for the first race of the season in Melbourne. With the 2025 season just around the corner, the competition is heating up, and there are many storylines to follow. The changes to the Australian Grand Prix circuit are just one example of how the sport is adapting to ensure both exciting racing and the safety of its drivers. As the season progresses, fans can expect more drama, controversy, and thrilling performances from the sport's top stars. The battle for the championship is shaping up to be one of the closest in recent years, with several teams and drivers in the mix for the title.